time to start adding some melodies to our track, because most dubstep tracks go right into the wobbles, and some of them are cool, but most of them are pretty horrible to listen to because there's no melodic content. It just sounds like a 3-year-old recorded a lawnmower. Alright, so what we like to do is to start with sort of a very epic pad-ish, soft, idyllic melody, and then slowly building it up into the drop, and then after the drop starting to introduce wobbles. Alright, just to tease you before it starts. Alright, so to do that we need some tracks that actually make the melody. So right click somewhere where there's no track and just click Insert MIDI Track. Alright, a MIDI track is different from an audio track. So far we've used audio tracks and they play back little snippets of audio that we've dragged in them. But MIDI tracks actually produce the sound rather than play back the sound. Alright, now there is a bunch of MIDI instruments that come with Ableton Live. If I click on this second button here, it shows me 3 folders. If I open up instruments, these are all instruments that come with Live, and they allow you to make sounds using MIDI. We're not going to use these instruments right now. Instead, we're going to use an external instrument called the Massive by Native Instrument. You need to go to nativeinstruments.com to download it, and you can download a free 30-day trial version. And after you've installed it, restart Ableton Live and then go to this third tab where it says VSTs or audio units. This is the plugin tab, and all the plugins will be shown here. Now, depending on what you have installed on your computer, different plugins will be shown. If I open this up here, I can see that the Massive is installed. And if you can't find it under the VST folder, you can open up the audio units folder, open up Native Instruments, and you will find it there. Alright, so drag either one of them in and drop it on your MIDI track, and as you can see it will rename the track and open up the Massive synthesizer. Now don't let all the knobs and buttons scare you. We'll go over these over time when we start making the wobbles, but for the melodic content I've already made a couple of sounds for you. So download the little package that comes with this video tutorial and go to File and open up the patches that I have supplied for you wherever you've unzipped them. In this case we're going to use the Baby Bells patch. Alright, and this programs our synthesizer for us. As you can see, all the buttons have colors now and all that sort of cool stuff. We don't really need much of it, so we're just going to close it. And it's not gone really, it's still working in the background. I like to call this parasite mode because it works inside of Ableton Live. If I want to ever open it up again, I just click this little wrench and it will open up the synthesizer anyway. Alright, so I'm just going to close it and rename this track to Baby Bells. Now it's time to start adding a melody, so I'm just going to select all this empty space here, right click on it and say Insert MIDI Clip. And this will insert an empty clip for us that we can program some notes into. So if I double click it, it will open up a piano roll here. As you can see, there's a piano with the white keys and the black keys. And what you can do is click this little microphone headset icon. As soon as you start clicking on it, you start hearing the sounds. Right? Alright, so we need to start making a melody, and we can do this a couple ways. We can actually double click and add notes. If I play this back, right, pretty corny, but it works. What we can do is also play the notes on our keyboard. If you have an external or electric piano, you can connect it to Ableton Live and play that way. If you don't, just make sure this button is on and it will turn your computer keyboard into a piano keyboard. So what you can do is the whole row where it says ASDF on your keyboard, depending on what language keyboard you have, of course, as soon as you press those, it starts playing the piano. Watch. And if you want to play the black keys, you go to where it says QWERTY and you use those. Like so. Alright, so that is how the keyboard works. Now it's time to start playing in our melody. So I'm going to start and press the D key on my keyboard, and the D key is actually an E in these notes. So I'm just going to double click here because I want that note there, and then I want to go higher up to a B, and I'm going to put that there. Alright, let's see what this sounds like. That sounds pretty cool. You can duplicate it. Now, as you can see, the melody that I've made for you, or the sound that I've made for you, has a couple of delays in it, so that makes it hard to make a faster melody. So we're gonna make somewhat of a slower melody. So let's see what we can do here. I'm just gonna turn this off because it gets a little annoying after a while. And I'm just gonna drag some things over here. Let me just play it by heart, actually. Almost getting there. Something like that sounds cool. Yeah. Let's go with a D. I'm going to make these notes a little bit larger, so I'm going to select them all and drag it out. Alright, that's exactly what I was looking for. So that is the first part of the melody. So in the next part we're going to actually duplicate this and create a secondary melody out of this melody, just to keep the variety in there, and then we'll start working on the build up. Alright, so follow me over to the next one.